This is Mary Lou Frost. This is a beginning tutorial on the subject of sharpening of images. I have provided a detailed PDF file with this series of tutorials, and it was written by Tony Kuiper. I got it from his blog, and it goes into lots of detail explaining the difference between sharpening for projected or sharpening for printing, and lots more. If you have an interest in the details, I would recommend that you read that and see what it will do to inform you. But most of us are aware that all images captured digitally need a little bit of sharpening. Even if you have captured them very well and sharp in the camera, they lose a little of this in the digital process, so that when the image has been fully developed and you're about ready to send it somewhere, we face the question of how to sharpen it. There is a difference between sharpening for projection and sharpening for printing. This topic is well talked about by Tony Kuiper, and I'm simply going to show you one of the simple tools that many of us have used, and I'll start with the Unsharp Mask. So whatever editor you're in, whether it is Elements or a full version of Photoshop, the file I've given you along with the materials, we're going to open in the editor mode. So if you'll go to File, Open, and find where you have placed that file. It's B on yellow flower with an ISO of 1600. And then comment here that this was taken with a very early version of digital cameras. And therefore, when you set that camera for 1600, you were dealing with noise. That's not really true in our new cameras. The sensors handle the dark shadows better and produce less noise. So a 1600 would probably not be a problem image, but it was in this case. And so I want to, whenever you want to look for noise and to deal with it, you want to view your image at 100%. And so you can do that through the Zoom tool, or you can use Control on Windows, Command on Mac, and type the number 1. And then once you're there, you can navigate to wherever you think in the image will be a good place for you to view. And so in order to see it well, we're going to go in and deal with the Unsharp Mask and learn some of the tools that are found there. Whenever you're ready to sharpen an image, you never want to work on the original background. So let's make a duplicate layer. From the keyboard, it's Control or Command J, or from the layer menu, duplicate layer. And then if you do it that way, you can actually name that layer if you wish to, and it isn't critical. And once you're there, we're going to take that layer and open the Unsharp Mask. It's found in the Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask in full Photoshop. And in Elements, it's in the Enhance menu, and it's called Unsharp Mask. Once it opens, you will see about the same image as I'm seeing here. It's very similar. I'm going to move this over to where I see a combination of the flower and the part below. And mine has already been set from before, so if you have it set from previous use, you can go and just lower all the amounts to the bottom, and you'll notice that your image doesn't look too well. When I first learned to use this many years ago, I had an instructor who suggested starting with a radius of 1.0 as the starting point, and maybe start at about 100% in the amount. And again, of course, you realize that every image will require a slightly different production, so you just need to work with the image you have. But on this window, there is a preview button. It says whatever I have done with this at this moment, I can uncheck the preview and my larger image will go back to its slightly softened state. In order to show you, I want to show you the role that the threshold slider has. In order to do it more easily for you, I'm going to suggest that we go ahead and increase the amount of sharpening a bit. So if I'm going to take this up to about 2.5 and maybe 150%, And so I'm overworked it a bit. And then I have a hand here. I'm going to slide it over into the area where it is visible to me. I may brighten my screen. Oh, it's all, no, that's sound. Let's see where the brightness is. Just in order to work better on this, the brightening it now just helps to show the noise. I would like you to notice in the very dark area how obvious the noise is in this image. And perhaps you can see it better now. And actually, that noise is a problem when you sharpen, because although this file didn't appear to have much of a problem in the noise area, but if you sharpen any dark shadows, you will accentuate the noise that is left. And we all know there's a limit to how much noise reduction you can do successfully without greatly softening your image. So I want you to have it so that you can see the noise that's in the shadows here. And then I'm going to show you what the threshold does. It will tell you around what radius of pixel the sharpening should take place. And it eliminates smooth areas from the sharpening. So that if I raise that threshold to maybe around 9 or 10, you'll notice I have lost the problem in here. Perhaps to see this even better, we might zoom in a little more. I'm going to hit the button next to the 100% and get into 200% so you're seeing the shadows more clearly. I'm going to take the threshold, I'm going to get rid of it, and you can see the noise reappear. And then I'm going to raise it up, and you'll notice as I raise the threshold, the smooth areas of the picture have their sharpening reduced. And that helps to take care of images that have dark shadows. And even if you don't have a lot of noise in that image, it will accentuate the noise in sharpening if you don't eliminate it. So in here, a simple threshold of 8 brought down that sharpening. And to see it before and after on your image here, if you hold your mouse button where the hand is over the little image here and hold it down, it brings back the effect without its being sharpened. And you can move it around to wherever you want to see it and then lift it. And if you are satisfied with the threshold level, fine. If you aren't, you can raise it a little bit till you get what you want and then move around and take a look. The before and after here, before and after the sharpening. So the point of this image is really, I'm at 200%. Let's go back to 100%. Nothing looks very good when it's at 200%. You sharpen for 100. But if you look along here now, we have an image that has nice sharpness in the detail of the flower, but has not accentuated the noise and the dark shadows. It also means that in the areas of this image that are smooth, like the petals here, if you look at those and you remove the threshold, can you see that there's more noise in the surface of that? By raising that, not only did I ease up on the noise in the dark shadows, it basically looks for smooth areas. So if you have an image with smooth areas and you're using Unsharp Mask, you want to carefully apply the threshold so that the sharpening which you want in the flower does not appear in either the shadows or on the smooth areas. So this is just a beginner for ways of using this. We will be learning lots of techniques if you follow through on these tutorials, but many of us have used Unsharp Mask, and I know for years I never knew what the threshold was for, and I just never used it. So at least now you know what its function is, and if it's helpful to you, you can go ahead and use it.